Are you ready? Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do this thing, man.
The League Podcast.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? We got Dylan and Jay here with the Lead Podcast. How's it going, man? Saturday afternoon, beautiful
Dylan,
day.
Great. Watching some college football here.
Yes, sir.
UCLA had an ugly upset. That was sad to see.
It's a
Big
bummer.
UCLA fan, as are you, I know.
Yes, absolutely.
So
is
is Tyler, who we fired. So
he's gone.
He's gone.
Done.
But UCLA, Josh Rosen had a huge game, but the 2 interceptions, I think, screwed that up big time.
And the other quarterback threw for 6 touchdowns. So, I mean,
Defense is crap.
yeah, defense didn't help out the offense. Josh Rosen over almost 500 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns.
College football is crazy. You don't see those kind of stats in the
way.
NFL, except if you're Jacoby Brissett in Patriots offense preseason.
Oh my gosh.
He
5
had some
total
games.
touchdowns.
Do you think how do you think he's going to relate Jacoby Brissett in that Colts offense? Does it make more of those players fantasy relevant?
I think so.
I think so too.
I mean, he's the official starter. Last podcast we did, we talked about the Colts, and we weren't sure if he was going to be the guy or not. Now that he is, it does change my perspective on some of those players. I mean, not immensely, but I mean,
I think it's pretty similar to what the Texans had. I mean, Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson are totally different, but Scott Tolzien, and then you put in Deshaun Watson and you get some action. You know what I mean? And then Colts, they have their backup quarterback playing behind Andrew Luck. Now with the Jacoby Brissett, I think he's going to come and unleash something, you know?
yeah, absolutely. I agree, man. I definitely
like
agree.
that. Sorry, I know we got right into that there, but I was
it's
just
all right.
interested to know what you thought about that.
Yeah.
And but I mean, today we're definitely going to cover all the Week 2 matchups, the ones we didn't cover
so we
from our
covered
last
8, and now we're going to cover the other 8. So we promised you guys we'd get it to you before Sunday, so we're going to post it today, Saturday afternoon. We'll post it on our social media. We got Instagram and Facebook at theleague.podcast and on Twitter at theleaguepod. So if you guys haven't already followed us on those, go ahead and do it. That's where we post these links for our YouTube videos for our podcast. So check us out again at theleague.podcast for our Instagram and Facebook, and at theleaguepod for Twitter. Jay, let's get this going, man.
Let's do it.
Let's rock and roll.
I think the first one we want to cover today is Bills at Panthers. So, first off, we don't even know if LaShawn McCoy is going to play or not.
He probably will.
He will.
But it worries me that he's already having these injuries. I think it's a hamstring or
After
something like
week
that.
1. That's why it was so odd that they let, Galissi go. They let, or what's the other guy that Tyler was super high on that
Jonathan Williams.
got cut?
Yeah.
They cut this guy.
crazy.
I mean, I
But
feel like
Mike Tolbert.
Tolbert.
He had 12 carries last week.
He's
he's a sleeper.
If McCoy doesn't play, that's not a 3-down back. Tolbert's a fullback.
But I mean, he could be their guy. They're a power run team. I mean, they power the ball up there. So I could see him getting 15 to 20 yards or 15 to 20 carries if LaShawn McCoy doesn't play. Even though actually LaShawn McCoy healthy last week, he got 12. So I could see him easily getting 15 this week with LaShawn McCoy kind of hurting. So Mike Tolbert, if he's on that waiver wire, go get him. Mike Estep, little sneaky mother. He snuck in and got him from us. So good job, Mike. Nice pickup, man.
Nice pickup. I played Mike this week. Definitely nervous. He's not playing T.Y. Hilton. He's sitting him on his bench. His keeper. He's sitting on the bench. Which,
you know what?
Matchup. You
I
gotta
might
play
sit Dez
matchups.
on my bench. So he was my keeper. I know. Calm down. I know it's a Cowboy. I don't like the Cowboys, but
And he dropped Aaron Rodgers for Dez. I just cannot. I really just. I was happy when it happened because I thought I'd end up with Aaron Rodgers. Of course, I didn't end up with Aaron Rodgers, so now I'm just mad because Dylan dropped him for Dez, and I don't have him, so it's crappy.
well,
Crappy situation.
it is what it is. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna win my league with my new keeper Dez.
Which league? A different one must be because you're not winning with the league.
Jake likes to talk, but I whooped his ass last week, so
Fine.
he just needs to pipe down until week 13 or whatever it is, and if he wins, then he can talk. But until then, he needs to keep quiet.
Dylan and I played twice last year. We went 1-1, so he has no right. I mean, I guess one more win than me. Actually, no. You go back one more year. I whooped that ass, and I went to the championship. Thank you very much, and won the championship.
He didn't whoop my ass in the regular season. In the championship, he did.
Playoffs. You didn't make it to the championship. Nice try, bud.
Semi.
So, anywho, Dylan's talking a loud game, but he's never even been to the championship, so he can't talk.
I have. I've won a couple in different ones, but since we started the league, I have not won a championship. Jake's only won one, so he talks this big game.
We've only had, this is the third?
I think fourth.
Okay.
Fourth.
So, still top 4%.
My dad won back-to-back, then Jake, and then last
Did he
year
really?
Jared, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So my dad was a double back-to-back champ, and then you ruined his streak. Yeah.
Took it from him.
So
no 3-peats in this area, only if it's from me. So
I'm going undefeated this year, guys, without David Johnson. I'm calling it right now. We'll talk about it. Throughout the weeks. Every week when I tell you I win.
Can't wait to prove this wrong.
And then once David Johnson comes back in 8 weeks, I'll have him for 8 more weeks, and that'll just Marlon Mack.
Dylan's going to come down to a crash this week against his own boy Cooper Kupp. His own dad's going to take this win from him, and we're going to be talking about his first loss coming up to our next podcast. So I can't wait.
And if I do lose,
then you were completely wrong.
I would be completely wrong, but I would also get a better waiver pick, and I definitely need some.
Listen, he's been hyping up this undefeated nonsense for weeks now, so I just cannot wait for that to be over with. So that's it. So Bills versus Panthers. I honestly like Panthers in this game at the end of the day. I have Cam and Kelvin, so I'm not trying to be biased, but I do think they bounce back because last week everybody and their mother, start Kelvin, start Cam, San Francisco 49ers, they're going off. They did diddly squat.
They ran the ball a lot.
I think, they got up early because of defense, and
they just controlled the game. They just controlled the clock and just ticked it down.
So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
I picked up the Panthers defense and I'm starting them, so I really hope that the Panthers do hold it down in Carolina.
The only reason Dylan has the Panthers right now is because your boy dropped the Panthers, which they didn't do bad. They got me, I think, 16 points.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of the Jaguars D this year. So they were sitting on the waiver wire. I have the Jags in my other league. 29 points. I couldn't keep the Panthers just because the Panthers don't have the corner depth, whereas the Jaguars have some of the nastiest corners I've seen together in a long, long time. So having that additional thing
is nasty.
It is.
And Luke Kuechly, I think, is the best linebacker in the game, and he is like.
Thomas Davis is amazing.
Oh, he is.
Come on, that guy, and he just doesn't.
Jags, they're amazing too. Don't get me wrong, but there's just so much more. Experience on that Panthers defense.
There is
to that Jaguars defense.
But they get beat when it comes to their corners, and that they get scored on. And the Jags,
they didn't get scored on last week.
They didn't. You're right.
They didn't get scored on last week. Field goals.
They're playing the 49ers.
They were.
They should have. Well, they did fine.
But
I think the Bills
is much better. They don't have receivers, so the receiver problem, corner's not going to have a problem. So they're going to cover
this week. They might be fine.
Corners. Yeah,
they might be. But I think in the future, without having at least one solid corner, who's their first corner? Ben Wickery?
No,
Bradbury. I
think so.
Bradbury.
24.
Yeah. So
he's good, man.
He's good, but he's not great. And then you don't have anyone great behind him either, or good guys that are young. So I just feel like that's where I just picked the Jaguars over the Panthers.
Absolutely.
But that's why, you ended up with Panthers. Congrats. I love them. I do love them. That's why I drafted them. But I just love what I see out of the Jags D this year.
I do too.
So I got Panthers winning this game in fashion.
I agree. I do think that the Bills score. They have LaShawn McCoy. That guy is one of the best running backs in the game. So
yep.
I think he's having this injury problem. I don't know if it's a hamstring or groin or whatever it is, but it might bother him. So if he doesn't play too much, then that's a huge loss on that offense. And Tyrod Taylor, he's good, but
it's only as good as the people around him. I feel like even so, he's a bit inaccurate. He's injury prone. I do love the fact that he can get out of the pocket though.
Yeah, he can. But his receivers, they're not great.
They took
got
a
Zay
huge
Jones,
hit with losing Sammy,
Matthews,
But Zay Jones shows a lot of potential. He looks
absolutely
great, but he's a rookie. He's young. He's just, still learning, right?
Yeah.
So
you just put pressure on these rookie receivers. If they're not, the best, they're going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I think Panthers D do have a nice week this week. So Panthers, start your Panthers. Even and then Sean McCoy, you cannot start as well if he's playing, and you got to play him. Look at his stat line last week. He didn't even score a touchdown, I don't think, and he scored a ridiculous amount of points because their offense run through LaShawn. So you have to play him. I dropped Zay Jones just because he's so iffy to me. You know, I love his potential. He's going to be up and down. So start your Panthers definitely. What's next game we looking at, Bill?
We got Vikings at Steelers. So, you know, as everyone knows, I've talked about before, Sam Bradford is my boy. I love Sammy Boy, drafted by the Rams. So I do follow the Vikings pretty closely. He's had multiple ACL injuries. His knee's bothering him. So it scares me a little bit. You know, he's questionable.
He had an MRI.
He had an MRI on it, and
this week
they pulled up Kyle Sloter from the practice squad. I don't know if you guys watched any preseason football. Kyle Sloter was on the Broncos and killed it. This guy looked like, man, he was amazing. I was really, really surprised that the Denver Broncos let him go, and the Vikings picked him up on the practice squad, and sure enough, he's on the roster now. So,
and he could be starting if for some reason Bradford doesn't play this week.
Not Clemens.
Casey Clemens.
No.
Or Casey Keenan.
Casey Keenum. He's starting if Bradford doesn't. Right. So,
but he got pulled up just in case.
Exactly. He'll be the backup. That makes me nervous, man. So that brings my value down on a lot of the Vikings, you know?
But who are they going to rely on more? Your boy, Dalvin Cook.
All day. They're going to feed him the ball.
They fed him with Sam in the game because, their offense looked amazing last week, like we touched base on our last podcast. But to be able to have that guy they can now run the ball with, offensive line played 0 snaps in preseason, looked poised, like they had been together. Chemistry was off the roof.
It was.
Off the charts.
Sam Bradford was so accurate. I think it was 27 for 31.
And I thought I loved Stephon Diggs before.
Oh, I picked him up, I think 2 years ago on the waiver in the middle of the year. Amazing. It was a great pickup.
And I think he just proved his worth right there, looking like a young Randy Moss out there on the Vikings.
Well, and not to mention, Adam Thielen is my boy, too. I picked him up on the waiver last year when he came out of nowhere.
He had more receptions than Diggs.
He did, and more yards.
And more, everything.
Diggs is in the red zone. That guy makes amazing, amazing plays.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Odell Beckham.
Yeah, well, like we talked about, Thielen is always open. He's always wide open. And then Diggs, that's why I like him so much, is because he's always getting pass interference while he's making this crazy catch. You know, guys are draped all over him. So Diggs is just a nasty receiver, but then it makes it so then Thielen gets wide open, running across the field, whatever it may be.
Because he gets those second-string corners, the third-string corners. He lines up in the slot.
And their receivers get to the point where then the whole defense has to take a step back. And right when that happens, they hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
It's just and that's how great offenses work. I feel like, and they looked like a great offense last week.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They played the Saints defense, so
definitely they got a much tougher matchup in the Steelers this week.
But DeShone Kizer, the rookie from the Browns, looked pretty good against that defense last week. So yes, they put up a lot of points and they got a lot of sacks, but Sam Bradford gets rid of the ball. He doesn't hold on to the ball like Kizer did. So they're not. Steelers defense is good, but they're not going to do what they did to the Browns last weekend. And the Browns still put up passing yards. So I think if Sam Bradford plays, start Adam Thielen, start Stephon Diggs, start Kyle Rudolph, start Dalvin Cook, and start Sam Bradford. If he didn't tell you that he's going to be one of the top players in fantasy this year last week, then I don't know what to tell you. Those are the type of guys you got to ride the hot hand. If he does bad this week, my bad. It is what it is. Same with Jared Goff. I'm starting Jared Goff in one of my leagues.
So I feel like the Steelers D-line blows up the Vikings poised O-line. So then Bradford's going to get hit. I like Steelers this week. I really do.
Saints D-line is not bad. It's their DBs that are bad.
They're not bad, but I just feel like Steelers are going to be coming in.
One of their best defensive linemen that they just re-signed or gave a bigger contract.
All I'm thinking about is T.J. Watt, watching him play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And then you have James Harrison as well. Those two guys no one on the Vikings D line. I mean, I guess they do. The Vikings, or who was it? The Saints have a great D line too, but I don't think anybody on the Saints D line compares to either one of those two players. So I just feel like it's going to get blown up a bit. I just don't feel like Sam is going to have as good of a game, but I'm not disagreeing with. I'm not disagreeing with. I think that you should start all the Vikings players because they are going to score. I feel like it might be a high scoring game. A bit not super high scoring, but.
I think Vikings win. I think Vikings start the season off like they did last year, and that was undefeated. So I think you start your Vikings. Steelers, I mean, I'm starting Lev Bell. I'm starting Antonio
Coming into Heinz Field, Steelers are not going to let the Vikings come in there and win. So I'm going Steelers. And obviously, you know who to start on the Steelers. I'm even going down to start Martavis Bryant. I think Martavis Bryant has a huge bounce back this week. I think not huge bounce back. I should take that back. I think he gets more looks and touches than he did last week. Even though they were getting him the ball last week, he just couldn't do anything with it. Yeah. Brown's defense, man, like you were just touching base on, they didn't look bad. Steelers didn't play great against them. No. They were without Myles Garrett, their number one pick, who I think even adds a whole different aspect to that.
And I don't think he's playing this week either.
But I just don't think Steelers let the Vikings come into Heinz Field and take that W from them. I think Lev Bell has a nice week, but Vikings D is scary, so we will all find out.
It's a funny story about the Vikings and Steelers. It's going to be one of the top corners in the league, Xavier Rhodes, versus one of the top receivers in the league, Antonio Brown. They went to the same high school. They lived in the same neighborhoods.
It's awesome.
They've known each other for a long time. So
Xavier Rhodes went to the locker room in the last game. Just something to look out for. I don't know. And he came back. So I don't think that it's anything too gnarly to worry about, but... it would suck if Xavier went down. It would be good for the Steelers' offense, obviously. Yeah. But look out for that. Obviously, that's a huge matchup. AB versus Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun to watch. And on the other side, we got Martavis Bryant, but we got Trey Waynes, who is
looking really
6'3", good. Right?
He's 6'3". Runs under a 4.4.
Yeah.
4.3, I think. I mean, Trey Waynes.
I mean, Martavis Bryant's tall and fast, and that's why everyone says he's gonna have that advantage. But I mean, he, like you said, he looked good. He looked good, and he's gonna probably be on him all game. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting. So yeah, I mean, I think Vikings win this game. He goes Steelers. We'll find out next week. We'll talk about it. I'll tell him I told him so.
Find out tomorrow.
Yeah, seriously.
But so for the next game we got on the lineup, we got Eagles at Chiefs. And I believe last podcast Dylan said Eagles come in and beat the Chiefs. Did you not say that?
I did. No. I said Chiefs win. I don't remember, actually.
We're going to have to pull the tape back.
Chiefs. Andy Reid's on the Chiefs. He was used to coach on the Eagles. Andy Reid's not going to let the Eagles come in and beat him. So Chiefs are going to win all day. Kareem Hunt is going to have another 200-plus all-purpose yard game, 2+ touchdowns. I'm calling it right now. If you have Kareem Hunt, he's going to be another top 3 running back this week. Start him.
Philly's defense is nice. I like them.
I thought that about the Patriots too.
But Dante Hightower went out. That's their nucleus.
Not
who's on their defensive line?
I thought he was in there pretty.
Nope, second quarter.
Kareem Hunt still destroyed him even when he was in the game. So
lost a fumble.
That was the first play of the game.
But I think he doesn't have. I just don't think he has another 200 all-purpose yard.
He's going to give you 30 points.
I know he's going to have a 20-point game though. I don't disagree with anything with him not
for sure
shining.
20.
He's going to shine.
For sure 20.
He's amazing. And not only running the ball, but catching the ball. Whoever has him, you guys, man, good job. Great pick.
And not only him, but Tyreek Hill. I am starting Tyreek Hill every single week. I don't care who the matchup is. I don't care who the corner is. I don't care.
And Eagles, that's a weak part in their defense is their corners. Their safeties are great, but they just lost rookie corner. They drafted in the
Ronald
4th round.
Darby.
Oh,
the
Darby,
guy they traded from.
I thought they lost someone from a draft or one of their draft picks too.
I'm not sure, but I know that they just traded for Ronald Darby from the Bills. And
is he out for the year?
No, he's only out. I believe he's out from I want to say 3 to 6 weeks or something like that. But still, that's a huge loss. That's their biggest weakness, and now they're going to be going up against one of the fastest most agile receivers that is in the NFL, and he runs amazing routes. So, I mean, I think he's going to get, man, I don't even know. He's going to have a great game. 1-2 touchdowns. I mean, I think he goes over 100 yards, probably five to 8 catches.
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have a game less than 8 catches. I mean, that's their guy. And Alex Smith, known for always dumping the ball off. Tyreek runs short little routes. And then Tyreek also, now we see an Alex Smith that's trying to get it downfield and push the ball downfield. Tyreek can take the top off of any defense in the NFL. So, I mean, what a weapon that is. What a weapon.
It is, man. So, I mean, Eagles, I'm not saying their defense is actually very fantasy relevant. Their defense for the past couple of years have been a top 5 or top 10 defense. They know how to get turnovers. They know how to score. They got a great defensive line. I mean, their linebackers are solid. Their safeties are solid. It's just really that corner position really hurts them. But offensively, they have Alshon Jeffrey, who they just signed. I mean,
Torrey Smith.
Yeah, Torrey Smith. Nelson Aguilar had a great week last week.
Had the best of the 3.
Not to mention Zach Ertz.
My man.
LeGarrette Blount, he's going to get those goal line touches. Darren Sproles is going to get that PPR value with all his catches. I mean, there's plenty of people to start. I mean, Chiefs' defense is pretty solid, especially against the run. But as you saw last week, Mike Gillislee scored 3 touchdowns. So
they were able to get it downfield, and drive downfield. But Chiefs just have that defense playmaking ability where they can get fumble recoveries, get interceptions.
Absolutely.
But there's those openings in their defense that if you can exploit, you're going to be able to get it downfield.
Yeah, man. So I really like Carson Wentz this week. I think he's a top 12 quarterback. So, if you're in a 12-team league, then I'd be starting him. Even deeper leagues, 14-team leagues, I'm starting him for sure. Darren Sproles, PPR, he's going to get points. I mean, it's going to be a higher scoring game. I think Chiefs offense is going to surprise us this year and score tons of points. So I think Eagles are going to have to throw the ball a lot. So Darren Sproles, I think he gets a lot of catches. I don't know if he scores a touchdown or not because LeGarrette Blount is their goal line back. So I do think that
unless it's a 30-yard reception catch because Darren Sproles looked like he did 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago.
He looks good.
He was so fast, so quick. Watching him play, I was so impressed that he just has that same electrifying speed that any play, I feel like he could take it back to the house easily.
Exactly.
So that's that potential there, but if they get within the 10-yard line in the red zone, they're going with Blount. And Blount showed his pass catching ability too. He scored off a catch last week. So
I'm starting Sproles in a PPR. I'm starting LeGarrette Blount.
Flex easily Sproles. LeGarrette Blount I think is a flex play too. Low end running back too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And their offensive line, I don't know, did you already touch base on the Eagles' offensive line?
No, I haven't.
That's one of my favorites in the league.
They've all been together for a long time too, so there's a lot of chemistry there. And, their offense is good. I mean, we were talking about the receivers, I would start Nelson Aguilar again until he proves me something wrong. I'm one of those believers, if someone does something well and they show chemistry, especially I don't know, man. If you watch that game, you could tell that Carson just trusted Nelson Aguilar, and Nelson Aguilar came up big for him. And when a receiver comes up big for their quarterbacks, they're gonna continue to feed them the ball.
Yeah.
And so I would start Nelson Aguilar. I'm not saying he's gonna be a top receiver this week, but I mean, if you're trying to figure out who you're gonna put in your flex, I would for sure play him. I think he gets 10+ points. I would say even closer to 15 points this week at the least. So. Alshon Jeffrey, I'm playing. I don't know because Marcus Peters
too good. You saw what he did last week and all of last year. This guy Marcus Peters is one of my favorite young corners in the league,
and he's probably going to just shadow Alshon.
Oh, without a doubt.
He didn't let Chris Hogan get 1 catch last week.
There were 0, or Chris Hogan got 0 catches. There was only
he got catches, just not on
against Marcus Peters. But
he allowed
anybody
0
that went to that
catches.
side, they were on a complete island. They wouldn't even throw it over there because of his abilities. Because he is on people like white on rice. I mean, Marcus Peters is one of the funnest corners, I think, to watch in the league right now. He plays with so much energy, too. He loves it. And, I mean, it makes me just love it even more. So, I'm going Chiefs, though, obviously, like Dylan, is at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City.
If you're streaming a quarterback, Alex Smith.
We talked about that last podcast.
Alex Smith, do it.
grab him.
Do it.
If he's gonna put up these points and start slinging the rock, have him on a bench spot because who knows? This guy could start just being top 5.
And there was an interview with him, and he said he knew that his time was coming to an end in Kansas City because of this new young quarterback. So he's like, the best man will play.
Got to prove
like,
his worth.
Exactly. He said it's a business, and he understands that. And if he doesn't perform, then they move on. And so, as we saw in the first game against the world defending champions, he lit them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Eagles do anything to stop that.
They Eagles, have to. I think they're gonna have to keep up. Like if they want to,
exactly.
if they want to win this game, they're gonna have to score. I mean, and a lot of points because we know Chiefs can.
Yeah.
So
and I think they score a lot again this week. So start your Chiefs. You can start a lot of the Eagles because they are going to be playing catch up.
I think, like you just touched base on though, Alshon Jeffrey might be another bust this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't play him. I think Travis Kelce has a better game than he did last week. He was pretty disappointing. He didn't do too much. Their game plan was to lock him down, but as everyone knows now, there's a lot more than Travis Kelce on that offense, so they can't just focus in on him because they give up big plays at the running back and receiver position. So now they're going to have to play more off of everybody, really, because especially there's so much speed on that offense. So I think you start all your Chiefs this week, honestly. And really the only Eagle I'm not starting is Alshon Jeffrey. Torrey Smith
could take
he's
the
a
top
sleeper.
off.
Torrey Smith's a sleeper. I mean,
absolutely.
He could, like you said, he could take the top off and he could score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
If in those deep leagues and you really need someone, if he's on the waiver wire, pick him up and put him in that flex, man. I mean,
same with Aguilar, like we touched base on.
I mean, I think Aguilar's more smart of a play.
He's that chemistry.
He's one of the biggest waiver wire pickups this week. So if he's on there, pick him up. If he's on your waiver, pick him up right now. Let's move on to the next one.
So another team, I think that you start everybody. Everybody is that Raiders team. All right, their Jets are going into Oakland this week. Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, the beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. I think all of them.
Jared Cook, tight end.
Flourish. Jared Cook.
If you need a tight end, he caught 5 of 5 passes last week. So
100%. Raiders go off this week, score 34 points, and I think everybody eats.
If you
maybe 42 points.
If you need Raiders, stream them. Their defense, Jets are not good. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is just as bad. I mean, they're not good. I don't know if they even win a game this year. So any week that you're playing the Jets, start defense, start all the offensive players.
You bet.
The Jets, they're going to be playing from behind every game. Bilal Powell, he's going to be a flex every game.
Yep.
Last week he didn't do much, and it's scary. I shouldn't say every game because soon enough nobody on that offense is going to be startable because it's so bad.
Yeah, I think it's one of the last weeks that I like even Robbie Anderson. Not one of the last weeks, but he's someone else too that in that offense I might play, but it might pick up. I don't even know if I play him just because it scares me so much, especially because the Raiders, D's nice, man. Yeah. That quarterback is going to get a beaten this weekend, this Sunday. So Raiders go off. I really think so.
I'm not starting anyone on the Jets except for Bilal Powell if you need to. But if you don't need to start him, if you have someone else that you can start instead of him, I would until he starts proving something. Because last week he didn't look too good. Their whole offense just looked bad.
Yeah, it's hard to play around.
Javon Curse, he actually had a decent game.
He did. He looked nice.
I think he had like 7 receptions or something like that. But they're throwing just such short, quick passes.
Little dinkers.
And they're not really going to score many touchdowns, I don't think. So, like Jake said, it's tough to start anyone on the Jets offense, but start your Raiders, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Start them all. That's really all I got about that game. There's not much to say.
It's a given.
It's going to be lopsided.
I don't know if there's another. Jets there was some statistic about the last time a team was projected to go 0-16 and lose in the fashion they're supposed to lose in this year because they're not good. Nothing. They don't have no pieces. They just shipped off Wilkerson, one of their best. Richardson, sorry, they're one of their best D linemen. I mean, they must be in just total rebuild mode, 100,000%. So
they didn't draft any quarterback or anything. They're going to get
Lamar Jackson this year,
or they're saying Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah.
They're saying they're getting the first pick, and did I say Christian Hackenberg?
Yeah,
I meant Sam Darnold
from USC.
They have Christian Hackenberg, who. Obviously, was a waste of a pick.
And he got picked, I believe, before Dak Prescott.
Yep.
And
Second round.
that's sad. Anybody? Oh, that's just so sad.
Well, you know what? It's sad that Dak Prescott didn't go first overall to the Los
I've
Angeles
been saying
Rams.
that since he
But
started.
Jared
Well,
Goff-
actually, I would have went Carson Wentz, then Dak, then Goff.
if Goff continues what he's doing, I'm happy. You know, I'm a Rams fan. He looked amazing last week. And I'm going
So
to the game tomorrow. I'll tell you guys all about it.
hopefully he flourishes, man.
I do.
For you.
I hope so. I hope
So
we
when
make
you're
the
happy,
playoffs.
I'm happy.
11-5, win our division. Seahawks go 10-6. They'll go wild card. They win first round. They play a second round. We beat them. We always beat them. All right, let's move on. Lions at Giants. Jay, I know you got OBJ.
That's right.
What's going on? What's going on?
So, who knows? He's my keeper and didn't play him last week, obviously. Probably going to sit him again this week because it's a Monday night matchup. Giants are playing at home. I think Giants only win this game if Odell Beckham is in the game.
Lions defense
Played
good.
great last week.
They
And
look
they're
good.
your standard Lions team. Matthew Stafford can sling that rock. They have mad weapons now. They have
They
two
do.
healthy running backs with Theo Riddick and Amir Abdullah. They have Marvin Jones, who's a number one receiver, Golden Tate, who's a perfect slot receiver, and Kenny Galladay, who's proven to be mini Megatron.
Wow.
They are
Kenny Galladay.
stacked. They are
2
stacked.
touchdowns last week.
And I think that's just the very beginning. That's
This
just the
guy,
very beginning.
And
He's
it's
just
not like it
scratching the
was
surface.
easy catches, man. He was making circus catches.
Looks
I
like
mean,
an NFL player.
he does.
So
He's the real deal. In preseason, I was questioning him. You know, like, okay, he's playing against second string guys. You know, they put him in the first string, and he didn't do too much. I mean, I think he made a few plays, but wow, I was impressed.
Proved himself.
Yeah.
And he was also obviously a big waiver wire pickup this week. Hopefully somebody got him. So I obviously going into New York, I still think Lions have the advantage if Odell doesn't play, because Odell sets a whole defense off, because he's another one of those players that the whole defense takes a step back because of Odell Beckham, and that might help out with the run, because the run game was nothing, and they had no help with the run.
Nothing.
That helped out. Nothing with the pass. Their
It was
whole
bad.
setup just looked horrible.
scary.
So I think with Odell, they actually have a chance. But their Giants look so scary to me this year.
It was bad.
I'm worried. I'm really worried.
I
So
am too.
I
Odell's
think-
gonna make plays no matter what.
yeah.
They did not look good.
So without Odell, I think Giants take a L at home against the Lions, the nasty
I think
Lions.
so too. I think Lions continue.
As much as I hate to say the Lions are going to win, because I want their record to be horrible, so Packers can steamroll that division.
I agree, man. But
So
Lions are gonna win.
anything you like on that game, Dill? I don't think Brandon Marshall either. Has anything going
I would
on.
not start anyone on the Giants except for Shane Vereen. I'd
Shane
start
Vereen
He had
and-
9 catches last week.
A sneaky person too is Sterling Shepard. He gets these little dinkers
He
who
does.
you might want to put in your flex if you absolutely need to. Otherwise, that whole offense looks so scary, man. I don't like it.
I don't either. And I mean, from the other perspective, I'd start Matt Stafford. I would start Theo Riddick in the
Mhm.
flex. I'm not going to start Amir Abdullah. Giants have a great defense, and I think that they hold the run down,
hmm
so they make them throw. That's why I like Theo Riddick. He catches those passes.
I like Galladay again. this
Galladay
week a
again.
lot.
I like Tate. He's a PPR monster.
I think this is going to be. I think Lions are running up the score on this game.
I do
Honestly,
too. But I wouldn't start Marvin Jones. Janoris Jenkins
JJ's too
shut
good.
down Dez. He's going to shut down Marvin Jones. So, you know, I'm going to start Tate. I'm going to start Galladay, Theo, and Stafford.
That'll be a good Monday night
Yep.
bout. So excited for that one. Hopefully Odell does play, but I doubt it. And he said something like, it was expected to be a 6 to 8 week recovery, which just makes no sense. I mean, because he's out there running routes. Detroit is game planning around Odell. Their game plan, like, they have Odell, so I don't know. I feel like he's definitely not going to be out 6 weeks, you know. So I think if he doesn't come back this week, he's a solid. Next week he will be back for sure.
Yeah.
But you brought up something that's kind of interesting about his contract dispute, about him possibly not playing because and he's injured too. But we've seen him dancing at the club. We've seen him running routes. We've seen him jumping up and down. His ankle's not that bad. His contract, on the other hand, is bad. So he, I think, is sitting there like, I want to get this figured out. I want to get paid,
Yeah.
and then get on the field.
Yeah, once
But-
he gets paid, you'll see him out there. So if you have Odell Beckham, you're screwed. Sorry, Jay. You kept him. He's not playing this year. Let's go on to the next game.
Okay, Dylan has obviously had a few beers in him because he just likes throwing out these crazy, bold stuff. So you can't listen to him because he's not right. So, like I told you, if he's not back this week, he will be back next, regardless of the bad contract. He wants to win. He's a winner. So, and he hates losing. You saw him on the sideline. He was so pissed last game.
He's a baby.
You're a baby. So, he is a baby. I can't lie. But I love him. Anywho, we got Lions and Giants Monday night, and then another matchup to look out for is Browns going into Baltimore. Ravens. What do you got to say, Dill? Who do you like? Who do you not like?
Ravens shut down the run last week against Cincinnati. I think they do it again against the Browns. You have Crowell. I don't think you start Crowell this week. I don't think you should.
I sure am.
I know you are. Steelers shut him down. 17 rushes for like 34 yards or something like that.
They have no options.
They don't.
They are going to use Crowell. And the problem was the Steelers got up quick. They had no choice. They couldn't run the ball. Even they had to pass, and they were still trying to run the ball.
Yeah.
But he didn't get much. No, he did score a 2-point conversion, which made me happy because that shows that at the goal line they can get it in at least. So I think Brown and hopefully is Myles Garrett not playing?
I don't think so.
I think with Myles Garrett, that whole team just shifts, man.
Well, he's
a difference
good.
maker.
He's really good. Yeah.
So Ravens D though, like they're tough,
solid,
tough D. So I understand why you don't want to start Crowell, but he's their guy. He's their number one running back. He's gonna get the production. Hopefully Ravens don't go up too quick, so they can run the ball. I do love Corey Coleman always since he's been in the league. DeShone Kizer has shown that he likes throwing him the ball. He's comfortable with them, and that's about it for their offense.
Yeah.
Duke Johnson sit him. Duke Johnson is going to be interesting because he's somebody who lined up 0 times at the running back position last week. He simply played out of the slot receiver position,
which he played all preseason. So
he did.
They love him
Hugh says that he's going to put him. He's not just a receiver. He's going to put him at both, which he could potentially be someone. If he's he's obviously on somebody's. In someone's lineup, not in it on their bench, but their roster. But that's someone that these next couple of weeks we might be able to see something out of because of the usage. They might have to be in positions where they have to get him the ball.
With him, it's like, I don't know. If he is going to be lined up in slot, he's not going to get as much opportunity as he would as a running back. So,
but if he does both?
Yeah, if he does both, then man.
Which they didn't utilize him in that way last week, but moving forward, supposedly they will.
Like you said, if something happens to Crowell, Duke's the guy.
And that's why I actually picked both of them in our draft because what a handcuff. A handcuff that you can have that is a potential flex every week too because of his usage at receiver. If anything happens to Crowell, now you have a number one as well. So, I like it a lot. But obviously, I think Ravens are a hard team to beat. They did work last week. Their defense is solid. And their offensive line is so, so good that it gives Flacco time and they're able to run the ball. So, it sucks Danny Woodhead went down. Hopefully, you were able to score on Javarius Allen. Taron West, I still think, holds that backfield. But hopefully Javarius Allen gets work.
They ran the ball over 40 times last week. So
21 carries for Javarius Allen last week. He obviously got a good amount at the last bit because, they want to keep Terrence West healthy. So
they're both going to get touches.
What do you think about Jeremy Maclin?
I like him. I like him a lot. He scored last week. He's a good receiver. He was the number one receiver in Kansas City. So
does he score a touchdown this week?
Yes, he does.
You have Jeremy Maclin scoring a touchdown.
Mike Wallace scores, and Jeremy Maclin scores. So I'm starting both of them. I'm starting Terrence West, and I'm flexing Javarius Allen. So
I think Macklin's a start, but I don't think that Mike Wallace is a start. I like Maclin, though. I love Macklin's wide receiver one potential. We saw him take a slant 40, 50, 60 yards. I forget
fast.
What it was. To the crib.
He's a good receiver. It's not like he's bad.
I
was shocked when the Eagles cut him. Or not Eagles,
Chiefs.
I'm sorry, Chiefs cut him.
But they took a big cap penalty, too. They took a hit. I don't know. Well, he's injury prone, and they had enough, I guess. Saw enough out of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's their boy.
So you have Ravens whooping up on the Browns.
I do. I do.
this week.
I do.
I like it. I just don't see the Browns winning this game, but I do have, like I said, I have Crowell, so.
It's at Baltimore. Kaiser was lucky enough to play in Cleveland last week, so
it's gonna be his first road matchup. Ooh, this could be a scary time
at
for
Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore's crowd is they're loud, man.
Yes,
So
they are.
I mean, I think that the Ravens win in fashion. Start your Ravens, like Jake said.
I like it.
Corey Coleman could definitely start him. I think you could start Duke Johnson on flex, and Crowell's going to get opportunity. So if you need to start a running back, start him.
Not super high on it, though, because the Ravens' defense is scary.
No.
So there you go for that one. I think we got 2 left.
Yeah. Titans at Jags.
Titans at Jags.
It's your Jaguars, your
that defense, man. And flipping to the offense with Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans, I saw something out of them, but I saw an inaccurate Marcus Mariota. I saw a run game that I wasn't super impressed with.
Wasn't existent.
That I thought that's what their game is about. Yeah. They have 2 dominant running backs. So
they didn't run the ball.
They didn't run the ball, which didn't open up the pass.
I think DeMarco ran the ball 12 times.
Which they have to figure out their game plan. If they're gonna be a run team, run the ball. You know?
They loaded up on offensive receivers.
Yeah, they did. Decker actually, had some catches.
He did. Corey Davis,
beast. Did you see that catch on the side of the end of the sideline? Oh my gosh,
looked good. He didn't play all preseason. Everyone was kind of low on him, but surprisingly, he had a great game, and I would definitely pick him up if he wasn't on the waiver wire. So, Corey Davis, definitely, I would play him.
I love the Titans' offense.
I do too.
Just watching them, they're not being up to those expectations that I set for them.
This week, they're playing a nasty Jaguars defense.
Yep. So
Jalen Ramsey might not play, though. That's kind of the only thing that kind of scares me, But if he does, I mean,
they still have another Pro Bowl corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and I think they got another guy, Colvin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's good too, So Jags
on top of that, ridiculous defensive line.
Front seven, man.
Miles Jack. They
Telvin
have
Smith,
Malik Jackson, Telvin Smith,
Calais Campbell, who had 3 sacks. I mean,
he's 6'8", 6'9", something like that.
Beast.
Scary big. So I just think Jaguars defense keeps them in this game.
I think Titans win,
but I think Titans turn it around and they end up winning this game in Jacksonville, especially if they're down a corner. That would suck for them. But their defense is still really, really good. But their offense, what are they going to do? They're out Allen Robinson. We're talking Jaguars, obviously. Yeah. Out Allen Robinson. Blake Bortles, it looks like, my little brother out there playing
21
football.
times or something like that.
Obviously, Leonard Fournette is a must-start every week. He runs with a head of steam like none other.
I would start him.
So he's definitely startable against the Titans D, who's good but not great. So I think, though, Titans do win this game, but it's a close game. I really think it's going to be down to the wire. I think it's going to be a very close game. Defenses are going to keep them in it, and Titans get the W over in Jacksonville.
I agree.
And shout out to everybody out there in Florida after the storm has passed, Irma, and they're over there playing ball. Next week after this all happens, Tampa Bay, obviously Jacksonville. I don't know if they even got hit, but still, shout out to everyone out there. Hope everything's going good. Best wishes from the League Podcast and the League. And so, anything you want to touch base on lastly about Titans and Jags?
Well, just my likes on the Titans offense. Marcus Mariota, he's a good player. Like you said, he didn't look too good last week, but
he was a top 5 quarterback last year in fantasy football.
I know he was.
He's got the potential.
He does.
Anybody that can move out of the pocket like
and they
that.
upped his weapons, and his offensive line is amazing.
Better offense than he did last year. They just got to get it together.
Yeah.
They just look rusty. I think is what it is. What it is.
Yeah,
but
so I'll start DeMarco. The receiver wise, I'm not sure if I really want to start anyone. If Jalen Ramsey's in, if you really need to, you could flex him. I wouldn't start him in the wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2.
I think in that offense, the only comfortable people starting are DeMarco Murray and Marcus Mariota. Everyone else, Delaney Walker is, but he's the person I would most rely on to score a touchdown passing.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
He's a great red zone target. And on Jaguars side of the ball, obviously you're not starting Blake Bortles. I'm starting Leonard Fournette. I'm not starting any of the receivers. Maybe Allen Hurns.
I was even thinking Marquise Lee.
Or Marquise Lee.
I mean, those guys might sneakily get in there, but Blake looks so bad that...
didn't either. He did. So I'm not really starting either of them.
Fournette's probably the only person on that offense that you're comfortable starting, but
Mhm.
a sneaky add is a Marquise Lee or Allen Hurns, because especially if Jalen Ramsey's
But you want to
out.
wait and see really what their production is going to be like, or their targets.
Allen's going to be out the whole year, so
Yeah.
they're going to be able to gain something. This week will be a good meter judge on to see what's going on in that offense. But
Yes, sir.
they can put their whole team on Leonard Fournette's back, and he's still running the ball.
But they're going to start really just stacking the box. It's going to be difficult. They're going to make them throw. I mean, last week they tried, but it didn't work. So we'll see if Leonard Fournette can keep it up. Last game, Cowboys at Broncos. This is interesting. I have Dak Prescott. I have Des Bryant. I'm not playing either of them. I might throw Des in at the last second, like I always change my lineup. But
Dylan's lineup changes 100 times before 10 a.m. on Sunday morning.
So bad.
You literally think he has it locked in. It's 9:58. Okay, I know who he's playing. 10 o'clock shows up. What the heck? I didn't realize that he... When did this happen?
Yeah, I make it right on the deadline. Most of the time, I'm trying to switch some guy in, and I can't even get it in because it's already 10 o'clock. But interesting stats. Broncos against, I believe, quarterbacks that are a couple years prone.
23 and younger.
They struggle. Or
interception rating.
Oh, my gosh. It's just through the roof.
The quarterback's interception rating is through the roof.
Yeah.
Because, I guess, and
Broncos just dominate them. They haven't lost to a young quarterback in forever at the Broncos. But Dak has actually played very well against top defenses, So
coming to the Mile High, though, that's a
Phillip
tough
Rivers
place to play in.
Was a top 5 quarterback, I think, last week. So Dak Prescott
Phillip Rivers is not 23 years old or younger.
Not.
He's been to Denver many times.
I think he has. You're absolutely right. He goes there once a year. So he knows how to play in that environment. But Dak Prescott has proved to be one of the most non-turnover prone quarterbacks in the league. I think he only threw 4 interceptions all last season. I think he's smart. I think he has a great game. Like I said, I have Russell Wilson, so I'm starting Russell against the 49ers. But if I have Dak and I don't have anyone else to start, I'll start him. He's going to get 15 to 20 points, I believe. Just like last week against a good Giants defense.
15 is Dak's absolute ceiling in this game. I'm staying with the trend, and Dak throws an interception this week against the Denver Broncos, who just are unforgiving. Their Broncos D is just so nasty against. Obviously, Dez, the same thing, is going to be shut down this week. Dak's going to throw an interception, but that run game, man, that run game is something special. They can just hand the rock to
most games consecutively with 80-plus yards. So
I think Zeke obviously continues that trend and plays tough against the tough Broncos D. But I really was impressed with Trevor Siemian last week. He looked poised. They were saying crazy accusations at the beginning of the game, the announcers. They were saying that their teammates of Trevor are calling he looks just like a young Aaron Rodgers, mixture of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And I was like, get out of here. But watching him play,
he looked good.
There were little glimpses of him where I was like, whoa.
But what happened at the end of the game is my question. And that's been his problem. He can't close out.
He's not a finisher.
He's not a finisher, man. So
that's tough to
we'll see
judge.
How the season goes on. It was a tough Chargers defense. They're good, man. They are really good.
Broncos offense though. They have so many weapons.
Demaryius Thomas, I'm starting. Emmanuel Sanders, I'm starting.
I love
C.J. Anderson, I'm starting. Jamal Charles got a lot of touches.
It sucked to see that at the end. He had some red zone carries too and couldn't do anything with them. I was hoping he'd be like old-fashioned Jamal Charles, break a couple tackles, get into that end zone. Everyone was going to go nuts. But I think definitely C.J. Anderson has that backfield locked up without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would start him. He's going to get the touches. Cowboys, like I said, I'll start Dak if I need to, but I'm not going to this week. Zeke, I'm starting. Des Bryant, I'm flexing if anything. If I'm desperate, I'm flexing him, which I might do. But I'm thinking about getting crazy and just hoping for the best with Chris Carson or Marlon Mack. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know what I did tomorrow or Monday. Other than that, I'm really not starting anybody. Terrence Williams had a pretty good game last week, like 6 receptions on 7 targets. So he actually hasn't practiced all week, and I don't think he's going to play. So Bryce Butler...
That opens the door for somebody.
Bryce Butler looked good last year with limited opportunities, and I mean, he's someone to think about.
That man
He does look
can
in
catch.
Yeah,
He's
and
an
he looks at him
NFL
in the red zone.
receiver.
So
He does. He's a big body guy.
he is. I believe he's like 6'4" or something
Yeah,
like that. So.
and man, he just grabs balls out of thin air. So I like Butler a lot this week, actually.
But, I mean, they have 3 lockdown corners
They
there.
do.
Calvin, or not Calvin.
I only said
Chris
I like him a
Harris,
lot because obviously
Keith
Williams isn't
Lee,
playing,
yeah.
but they're DBs.
Even
Their
Bradley
whole
Roby
defense.
looked really good. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. I really wouldn't start anyone on that Cowboys offense except for Zeke. Maybe Dak if you really need to.
And if you can start offensive linemen, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
kidding. They're a line, though, man. That's why Zeke is so, every week a starter, you
Yeah.
know?
I agree, man. So,
Broncos, yep, we touched base already.
I'm going with Cowboys. Cowboys win in Mile High City against the Broncos. Stay undefeated. Zeke over 100 yards with a touchdown or 2. But speaking of Zeke, they did talk about the NFL. They took it back into court. They're trying to get Zeke suspended ASAP. You know, so they're trying to get that. I think what's it called? Restraining order overturned and getting straight to it. September 26th, I think, is the date where we find out if Zeke's going to be suspended or not.
Very, very interesting.
Tyler probably has a lot to talk about that. So once we hire him back on the team, probably next time around, he'll tell you all about it.
What bullshit he brings to the table.
Yeah, that bullshit.
We'll see. It's so back and forth with this Zeke thing. It kind of sucks. It just kind of wanted to be over with and know already, you know. But I think Broncos take this game at home.
Nah.
Defense is too good. Dak those interceptions. They're going to get points off of those interceptions, the Broncos.
Cowboys
offense,
win. Close game. Sorry, Jay.
Definitely be a close game, but we'll see after Sunday. So I'm glad we were able to get in the booth and get at the last of the 8 matchups in week number 2.
Yeah, guys. So
Hopefully your fantasy weeks go great. You all kill it. Please give us feedback. Once again, follow us on Instagram at theleague.podcast, and that's the same for Facebook at theleague.podcast, and on Twitter at theleaguepod. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait to get back to you guys on Monday or so to talk about what waiver wires to pick up.
Yes,
Who's going on this week?
Who's getting hurt? Who's
What's
stepping
happening?
up? I mean, what's going on? All right, guys, have a great Saturday afternoon. Watch college football, and we'll see you next week.
What did I do? What did I do? The league, huh?